Israel is set to release two Gaza-bound humanitarian aid flotilla activists who were abducted by Israeli authorities. A rights group has said Saif Abu Keshek, a Spanish Palestinian, and Brazilian Thiago Avila will be freed on Saturday, according to a statement from the rights group Adala, which was representing the two men.
And a person has died after jumping an airport fence in the US state of Colorado and being struck by a Frontier Airlines plane, according to authorities. Denver International Airport said the unusual incident occurred late Friday after the unidentified individual gained access to the tarmac. And in the occupied West Bank, a marathon is a political statement. Palestinians ran alongside the separation wall today, a structure that cuts them off from their land, their families, and even the sea. Al Jazeera's @Layla.shw reports from Bethlehem.
NVIDIA continues to be a major investor in the AI ecosystem, committing more than $40 billion to equity investments in AI companies. And that's just in these early months of 2026, according to CNBC. Much of that total comes from a single bet, a $30 billion investment in OpenAI. But CNBC reports that the chipmaker has also announced 7 multi-billion-dollar investments in publicly traded companies, most recently deals to invest up to $3.2 billion in glassmaker Corning and up to $2.1 billion in data center operator IREN.
And Palo Alto startup Zyphra has introduced Xia18B, a new reasoning-focused mixture of experts' language model with just over 8 billion parameters and only 760 million active parameters. Despite its relatively small size, Zyphra said the model delivers competitive benchmark performance against GPT-5 High, DeepSeek v3.2, as well as Claude Sonnet 4.5.
Huawei has introduced 2 new smartwatches designed for children, the Watch Kids X1 and Watch Kids X1 Pro. The devices were announced globally during Huawei's innovative product launch event alongside the Watch Fit 5 series, Watch Ultimate Design Spring Edition and Watch GT Runner 2 Racing Legend Edition.
And Hyundai Nishat Motors is set to launch a special edition of the Hyundai Elantra 1.6 in Pakistan, with the company scheduled to officially announce pricing details on May 12, 2026. The automaker shared the announcement through a teaser posted on its official Facebook page.
Mohammad Abbas claimed 5 wickets to restrict Bangladesh to 413 before 2 debutant batsmen combined to put Pakistan in a strong position in the first test on Saturday. Opina Azanawais hit an unbeaten 85 and Abdullah Fazal, also playing in his first test, was 37 not out as Pakistan reached 179 at stumps on the second day in Dhaka. Hungary's new Prime Minister has officially been sworn in, almost a month after he swept away his predecessor, Viktor Orban, in parliamentary elections that brought an end to his 16 years in power. Peter Magyar, 45, who leads the centre-right Tisza party, propelled into office on promises of change after years of economic stagnation and strained ties with key allies under Orban.
And Bahrain's Interior Ministry says it has arrested dozens of people in the country accused of belonging to a group linked to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC. The ministry announced the arrests of 41 people in a statement on Saturday, saying legal proceedings are underway against them.
Major new development projects have been approved in Lahore, including a 5-star plus hotel built to international standards, as CBD Punjab pushes ahead with fresh commercial expansion in the city. Among the key projects is the Regalia, a luxury residential scheme that is expected to become one of Lahore's flagship high-end developments. The project will be built on a 7.1 canal plot in the CBD Cade district.
And a new scientific breakthrough has raised hope for completely curing type 1 diabetes after researchers successfully prevented and reversed the disease in mice. In the study, scientists treated mice by transplanting donor blood-forming stem cells together with insulin-producing islet cells. The approach created a mixed or chimeric immune system, meaning the immune system became partly donor and partly recipient. And Pakistan's rising squash star Mohammad Ashab Irfan continued his impressive run at the PSA World Championships after defeating Switzerland's Nicolas Müller in the opening round. World number 48 Ashab, showing excellence, control and confidence, secured a 3-0 win over world number 31 Müller with scores of 13-11, 11-9 and 11-0. And Sense has introduced the GX Ultra, a new 27-inch gaming monitor with a dual-mode mini LED display that stands out for its unusual resolution and the ability to hit high brightness levels. The Hisense GX Ultra uses a glass-based mini LED panel with 2,304 local dimming zones. Hisense said the monitor uses its Obsidian display technology LEHut along with a zero optical distance backlight design that places LEDs closer to the LCD layer to improve contrast and reduce light bleed.
Workers at a Samsung chip factory have been on strike over issues related to unpaid overtime and bonus payments. Estimates cited by the Financial Times suggest a full-scale strike lasting the planned duration could cost Samsung between $6.9 billion and $11.7 billion in direct costs. However, Samsung Electronics management and employees in the company's memory division have reportedly made progress in negotiations over bonus payments and wages.
And Instagram has discontinued its most secure form of direct messaging on Friday, 7 years after its parent company Meta first introduced it on Facebook Messengers in 2019. End-to-end encryption, E2EE, is a method of relaying information which allows it to only be viewed by the sending and receiving devices.
Australia's far-right One Nation party has captured a seat in the country's House of Representatives for the first time, according to preliminary election results. Dave DeFarley, a former agribusiness consultant, is on course for a decisive victory in the special election for Australia's southwestern division of Farrer, located in New South Wales State, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation reported on Saturday. Iran's Football Federation has said the men's national team will take part in the 2026 World Cup that begins in June, but demanded that joint hosts the United States, Mexico and Canada agree to its conditions amid the Middle East war. The call on Saturday comes after Canada refused entry to the federation's chief last month before the FIFA Congress because of his alleged links to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, the ideological arm of Iran's military, which it designated as a terrorist group in 2024.
And the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa KP Health Department has made it mandatory for patients to provide their computerized national identity card, CNIC number and mobile phone number when getting outpatient department, OPD slips at all government hospitals and medical centres across the province. The decision is aimed at improving transparency in the healthcare system and maintaining accurate patient records for better medical follow-ups. And security researchers have identified more than 5,000 publicly accessible web apps created with AI coding tools that reportedly lacked proper security protections or authentication systems. According to a report from Wired, researcher Dor ZVI and his team at Red Access analyzed thousands of applications built using AI development platforms, including Lovable, Replit, Base44, and Netlify. And Australia is expected to tour Pakistan with a relatively inexperienced squad for the upcoming three-match ODI series, with several senior players likely to miss the tour. According to reports, many of Australia's leading cricketers are currently involved in the Indian Premier League (IPL), while a few experienced players are being rested ahead of the upcoming Test season. And the Women's National Selection Committee has announced a 15-member Pakistan squad for the three-match T20I series against Zimbabwe women. The series will be played at the National Bank Stadium from May 12 to 15.
The Met Office has predicted that a fresh westerly wave is likely to approach northwestern parts of the country on 10th May and likely to persist in upper parts till 12th May night. Under the influence of this weather system,
and Israel will release 2 foreign activists taken off a Gaza-bound flotilla from detention on Saturday before handing them to immigration authorities ahead of their deportation. The rights group representing them said Saif Abu Keshek, a Spanish national of Palestinian origin, and Brazilian Thiago Avila were among dozens of activists aboard a flotilla that was intercepted by the Israeli Navy in international waters off the coast of Greece on April 30.
A year ago, Pakistan and India fought a short but intense war, the worst military confrontation between the two nuclear-armed neighbors in decades. During the period of Mark-I-Haq, the battle for truth, Indian fighter jets were shot down and Pakistan launched Operation Banyan and Mahsus, a barrage of attacks against Indian military targets in retaliation for missiles brokered by New Delhi. The conflict ended with a US-brokered ceasefire.
And private companies participating in the Punjab government's wheat procurement programme are struggling with financing problems, pricing disputes and strong resistance from farmers, reported Dawn. Under the 2026 wheat procurement strategy, the Punjab government planned to procure 3 million tonnes of wheat through 11 private firms instead of relying on the traditional state-led procurement model. And memorabilia belonging to late model and movie star Marilyn Monroe is heading to the auction block, offering a rare glimpse into the private world of one of Hollywood's most enduring legends. Items up for sale include pieces from her wardrobe and jewelry, letters, handwritten notes, paintings and poetry. Marilyn is just an icon, said Brian Chains, Senior Director of Hollywood and Entertainment at Heritage Auctions during a preview of the collection on Friday. And people love and adore Marilyn to this day.
Karachi, the Special Investigation Unit, SIU, on Saturday claimed to have arrested an alleged supplier of crystal methamphetamine, commonly known as ice, and an extortionist in separate actions in the metropolis. The SIU and a federal civilian intelligence agency, acting on a tip-off, jointly carried out an operation at the Lyre riverbed and arrested the narcotics dealer in an injured condition after encounter. Who? Barcelona versus Real Madrid. What? La Liga where? Camp Nou, Barcelona, Spain. When Sunday at 9 p.m, 19 GMT, how to follow. We'll have all the build-up on Al Jazeera Sport from 16 GMT in advance of our live text commentary stream. With the sting of Champions League disappointment fading but not forgotten, Barcelona are aiming to clinch back-to-back La Liga titles on Sunday when they host bitter rivals Real Madrid.
Russia has held one of its most scaled-back Victory Day parades in years, citing the threat of attack from Ukraine, where a decisive victory for Moscow's forces has remained elusive more than 4 years into the deadliest conflict in Europe since World War II. The May 9 parade on Moscow's Red Square is Russia's most revered national holiday, a moment to celebrate the Soviet Union's defeat of Nazi Germany and to commemorate the 27 million Soviet citizens, including many from what is now Ukraine, who were killed during the war.